Welcome to In My Own Words, a Nathan Williams production. I am Nathan Williams, and this is season 2. Happy Nate Day, friends. So, it's been a while. It's actually been, according to my watch, 1,896 hours since I posted an episode of In My Own Words. In other words, it's been a long ass time. I can be quick to say as to why I haven't posted in nearly 80 days. Not to take thunder from your favorite Gemini, but I've been going through something. If you're new here, I'm very open about mental health and things that sort of bother me. Some things shouldn't be written off, you know. You can't really ignore them because those issues can come back and bite, you know, or conversations that need to be had shouldn't be held off because a person doesn't like your tone or whatever the case is. So I had to go have those difficult conversations. And the most difficult conversations seem to be the ones that can make the bigger impact, you know? That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. But I need to go deal with it. I stopped posting the podcast, and I really stopped posting on social media in general. I think this is probably the least active time period I've ever had on social, which is weird. Well, I'm not too big on it anyway, but it's really weird to say that I really took a step back. In general, I wasn't really happy. I was working retail, and I was looking for a new job in the industry I went to school for in media. Working 40 hours a week and job searching was pretty taxing, and it really destroyed any creative aspect and any creative element that I had in my heart, really. Especially when you have an inconsistent work schedule like retail offers you. Now, this isn't a bash. I'm not bashing working in retail at all. Everyone should work in retail. Everyone should work in fast food. I did that too to get that experience. But damn, it humbles you. It really humbles you. And they try to give you the little discount of awards and stuff. It's all right if the clothes can fit. But you know how it is. Yeah, my work schedule was pretty inconsistent. Having to wake up either at 6 a.m. to go to 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. for noon or whatever the case was. And every day not being the same. Like in a week span, you're working 5 days a week, and 2 of those days are different from the other 3 days or whatever the hell it is. And then you're either working 4 consistent days, and then you get 1 day off, and then you got to work 4 more. It was really stupid. It wasn't fun. It wasn't rewarding. I wanted out. So the job search wasn't any better. I was sending cover letter after cover letter. I felt like I was back sending scholarship applications, the way that things were going with this. I essentially was trying to put myself out there and say, hey, I want to join this community and I want to tell the stories that need to be told. Been about it, not fake about it. That's always what I've been doing. I've been doing that since before I graduated high school. Like, telling these stories, it matters to me. Why I started this project here, it matters. So I wanted to push that vision, but I guess some stations didn't see the vision, or they got back to me at really crap times. It wasn't the best feeling in the world. It was really uncomfortable. And then you're also working. I had coworkers that were aware of me looking for new jobs, and they were asking me about it. That was really weird. But it showed that they cared, and I do miss the people from my old job. So I'm just throwing that out there. I know y'all are still listening. I have to say that. I have to. Take care of Mason, though, because he's working there now. If I did land an interview, it seemed like the universe didn't want me to go there. Or didn't want me to get the interview done. Rescheduling based on the current job schedule was a pain in the ass, too. Because, again, your schedule is inconsistent. And if you work in retail, you already know this, but they schedule us. They schedule retail workers 2 to 3 weeks in advance. And that is a pain in the ass, especially when you don't realize that you have something that's coming up, like a job interview. Somebody's going to want to reach out to you and stuff. You can't just schedule, a job interview and you work. Like, it was really hard to do that because you got to prepare for that. You got to iron your clothes. You got to lay out your stuff. You got to lay out your stuff like it's first day of school, and then, actually do it and have the mental capacity to turn around and get back in your Nike clothes or in your work clothes or whatever the case was and go to work. So that was tough. It felt impossible, especially with that type of schedule. And I needed to hit a pause. I need to hit pause for a minute on my life, on what I had going on outside of work and whatever. So that meant no podcasts. I wasn't on Instagram and Twitter as much. Well, except for the NBA playoffs, I didn't miss a second of that. But it was hard to even get on that when I was moving around a lot. I did things that I normally wouldn't do, taking a step back like that. And especially not announcing it. I don't announce stuff. Which, that it was absolutely necessary. I mean, I am a living example. Y'all remember that lyric from 6 Foot, 7 Foot? Real G's move in silence. Like lasagna. Damn, I want lasagna now. All in all, moving in silence. Sometimes it works for people. Sometimes it don't. For me, it works. It always works. I always do this. But once everything started clicking, I found a job, accepted an offer, left the retail job, and I moved. Yeah, look at this backdrop. I've been working a few weeks to get this right. I moved out of Houston. I'm no longer in there. I'm no longer in Houston. You heard it right. For the first time in 16 or so years, I'm not in the Houston area. And I'm counting Huntsville too. I'm not there at all. And I'll explain, I can finally make this formal announcement. I feel comfortable enough to do this. I've accepted a news producer position at CBS 19 in Tyler, Texas. Sorry. I've always wanted to work in media, whether it was in front of the camera or behind the camera. And I can tell you that I am truly enjoying the work that I'm doing. And I held this announcement back because I felt announcing it would have added a little pressure to the job itself. If you notice, all of the jobs that I've worked, I've never really truly announced them, but you have seen me work at them. And I posted a little bit of the job. Sam, our digital producer, she loves making TikToks. And she actually got me on, she hasn't got me on TikTok yet, but she has gotten me on the station's Instagram a few times. So that's been fun. But that was probably the most you got out of that. And if you probably kept up my profile, I did update the bios. I did that when I got on. But all in all, nobody catches up with Nathan. No one keeps up with Nathaniel. No, but with every life update, comes the support. But with so many eyes and thoughts come fear and intuitive thoughts inside. I am not a perfectionist, and we've had this conversation before about perfection not existing. But it's those thoughts, that the thoughts of doubt and everything else that comes with growth. It kind of, you're your own worst enemy, and I didn't want to be my own worst enemy. I wanted to focus on my job without having to meet an expectation of someone else outside of the workplace. And that's why I held off. And I was proud of that decision because I felt like that was something that I needed to do for myself, for my team, and I'm proud of that. So the first question is, why Tyler? Why stay in Texas? I know some of y'all don't like living here for whatever reason. This grand old state here. Selfishly, I could have gone anywhere. I mean, anywhere. But my plan coming out of Sam Houston, my plan of graduating a year ago, was to stay in Lone Star State for my first job. It was just something that I felt strong about. I felt like that was the best decision for me. You got to think about it. This state, there's over 800 miles of opportunity here. You could fit multiple states in the state of Texas. Now, when the job search got a little tough, I did consider Louisiana, Arkansas, Florida, New Mexico. I wanted to be close to what I'm used to or friends and family. I was looking at West Texas, Corpus Christi, Southeast Texas, Houston area, anywhere closer to the state line and the Brazos Valley, Bryan College Station for all you Aggies out there. But those were blanks for me. It didn't pan out the way I thought it would. I never heard back from some, or I backed out of others, or some of them hit me up 2 weeks after I started working for CBS 19. So, that happens. It's happened at every single job I've ever applied for, where I hear back from the places I apply. I applied at least 4 or 5 places at once. And every single time, one of those places always wait until about 2 weeks after I start working at a certain place. So whatever. Then, of course, the Russian-Ukraine thing happened. I had to reevaluate myself for a second and look at the world. I had that last episode. That was the last episode it was. It was the end of the world, talking about Russia-Ukraine. In that particular episode, I wanted to be sensitive about what I was going to discuss. I had to re-record that episode like 3 times. Again, very taxing. Very, very taxing when it comes down to some of the topics that we are and should discuss. That situation and where we were in March or April, going into April, that is nothing compared to what is happening right now. And there's no way in hell that we should be numb. Sidebar, there's no way in hell that we should be numb to what is happening in our world right now. Pay attention to what's going on around you. I've said it already. Educate yourselves on what's going on. It does have an impact on your daily life. Just like I said in March, same thing applies in June. It will have an impact on your daily life without you having to pick up a gun and go overseas. That's just where we are. That's where we are right now. Gotta pay attention, gotta educate yourself. Because it's happening. Everything that's happening, it's already happened. History has a funny way of repeating itself. So, but back to the original updates here. I hesitated based off of Russia-Ukraine to take an offer. So I pulled back on it. And I was upset. I was down. I had to go back to work, deal with all the crap there, and I wasn't thrilled. I couldn't even hide my frustration, really. I would go home and just be pissed. But one night I remember the conversation that I had with one of my professors, before walking across the stage a year ago. She's actually from Tyler, or this area, East Texas. She was telling me about this market, and it was known to have been a good spot for people coming out of Sam Houston, people who wanted to start journalism and in the media industry. It was a good starting point. So I looked into the community. I saw how pretty it was, and got to learn about its history a little bit. It was pretty much sold on it, really. It didn't take a lot to convince me to come out here. I saw this position was available. I was excited. I worked my magic, sending my emails, making my pitches, booking the interviews, talking about, my legitimate storytelling goals, telling the stories that need to be told in the community. And, well, obviously the rest is history. I'm here, getting settled. The more I think about it, I think another reason it felt right was my original decision to go to Sam Houston as well, because Sam Houston and, Huntsville and Tyler, about 2 hours apart. So it's all East Texas. It's not Dallas, it's not Houston, but it's East Texas. When I first visited that campus, I was like in 11th grade. It was October. We had a marching contest at Bauer Stadium. Y'all know how October, Texas is. It's like weird. You like, where the hell is the cool air? Where is it? It was hot that day. Not as hot as it is now. I just asked my Google device, what the hell is the heat index here? It is 102, and it's Well, you know what the date is. It's June. That's ridiculous. No, that's stupid. But it is what it is. But I remember how pretty that area was, in Huntsville, visiting. All the trees. There was so much green. There was hills, and it was just pretty. It was something that I wasn't used to seeing. And I just got back from Cyprus a few weeks ago. There are hardly any trees down there, man. Farmland is being sold and becoming homes. I don't see no much trees. Cyprus, you might have to change your name because it ain't looking too good. I was sold when I went to Huntsville. I made that year and a half work. Thanks, COVID, for taking a semester from me. But, I learned a lot about East Texas from staying out there. And it was one of the best decisions that I felt like I could make. So this one was easier. I figured making the transition wasn't going to be hard, even with the inflation. And I've reported about inflation for weeks now. Inflation, I'm tired of that word. After so many weeks, like I said, it hasn't been hard at all. I don't know. It's something about this place, man. It's cool. It's calm. It's pretty. There's way more trees and way more hills. I was driving up here. The first time I drove up here for my apartment tour, I just remember passing so many trees. There's so many trees in East Texas. It's insane how many trees there are. And it's pretty. It's so pretty. I recommend it. Come up here, man. I think it's the rose capital, if I'm not mistaken. I have not seen any roses yet, but I see the signs. They have for the city of Tyler, they have like roses in their logo and stuff. So I guess it's really pretty up here. I hear that it's also pretty in the fall, so I'm excited for the fall when it comes. The downside. Well, the upside. Compared to Huntsville, there's more options. There's more food options here. The downside is that there is no damn HEB anywhere near this place. And the HEB that I think is the closest ain't that good. Was really disappointed. I was tempted to make a stop the last time I went home when I came up here to stop in Huntsville to go to that HEB because I know that HEB. Yeah, there's no HEB here. It's Brookshire's country up here. Not Brookshire's brothers. We had a major talk about that in the news. I'm not getting into that here. But it's just different. It's different, all right? But I can overcome it. I can figure it out. I can figure out anything. Plus, I'm surrounded by good people. Good vibes. Every day is a blessing, and I want to see where this goes. If I could give you one takeaway from this episode, wrapping this up with a bow, I can tell you that it's okay to take a risk. It's okay to take a chance. I'm not much of a risk taker myself, but I know when to let that arrow fly. If you want change, you can make it happen. But don't allow yourself to be reckless. Consider anything and everything so nothing catches you off guard. Essentially, that's how my moving process was up here. Considering what was going on with the world and the inflation and the war and everything else. Looking back, I wouldn't have never imagined myself taking this journey on my own. Picking up, derooting myself, moving away from family in the pandemic, and just going. I don't think I would have ever pictured myself ever doing that. Getting this 1-bedroom apartment. You see this damn fireplace in the middle here. Never would have thought that would have been the case. This is my studio now. This is my domain. This is where the magic happens. Settling has never really been something I've gotten used to anyway. I mean, every 2 years I've had to either, I graduated and then I transferred and then I graduated again and now I'm leaving. And that was originally not necessarily planned. I was not intending on staying in Houston for a year. I was going to stay for 6 months. So again, just picking up and just leaving. In this industry, you have to do that anyway. So it just makes more sense to just get it done. But this change is absolutely a good change for me. It's a start of sorts, trying to figure out where I want to fit in this industry, and hopefully tell for a lengthy career in storytelling. That's obviously what my goal is here. I tell my parents often, I may not be in front of the camera. Like in this case, I'm in front of the camera because this is my own little thing. But when you watch my newscasts, you are watching my work. Every word that is spoken, every graphic that appears, that structure, maybe throwing in a little weather cam in there to count the clouds, as I said in the control room. That's all Nate. That's all Nate right there. And I love going home. I love coming back here, turning on the projector and watching my work be carried into other newscasts. That is so rewarding to me. It makes me feel like I made a difference that day. I feel like that's one of the biggest rewards there. Helping people without necessarily going into the community, without necessarily, having an interview or whatever. Dressing up in button downs. I don't do that. I'm having casual Fridays. This hoodie is being worn today, actually. I'm posting this on June 15th, Nate Day. This hoodie is being worn. So, currently. Headband probably too. We'll see. So, now that I'm working in media, what does this mean for this project? I already complained about my schedule. Well, I have a more consistent work schedule to work with, all right? So it should not be hard. It shouldn't be difficult to produce this podcast. Having your own space, having your own backdrop the way you want it to look, having different lights around you. Like, y'all already know what I'm saying about the lights. The lights are the most critical thing about this whole damn thing. However, even though I say this shouldn't be difficult, with the exposure of so much hard news that comes with this world, I'm going to have to pull the plug again. I'm going to have to pause. I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to allow myself to breathe. In the last couple weeks that I've been here, I've had to write about 3 mass shootings. And some of them have connections to Texas. Some of them don't. But I've had to write about multiple mass shootings, violence, murders. It's a messed up world we live in. And I'm not afraid to talk about how messed up this world is. I don't take it home with me. But you never know. Sometimes it might just be too much. Maybe I'm not up to make a podcast episode. I literally just spent 80 days not doing this. So you never know. And it goes back to what I always say. Check on your people. Because you never know what's going on. Anybody can fake a smile. So, talk to your people. Find time. Anybody can find time. We all got the same amount of hours in a day, same amount of minutes in a week. Find the time to have conversations with your people. See where their head is at. We can all support each other. We can all grow together. So, I created this podcast to express my feelings and thoughts naturally. No coercion. While attempting to kind of hold my tongue a little. I'm not really doing a good job at that, obviously, but you're still here. You're still listening, so obviously I'm doing something right. I don't want to drop all my problems here in this platform here because, security issues, the company's pretty big about that. Don't expose yourself too much. But I do still believe that some discussions should be had here in this space. This right here, this box, this audio file you're listening to on Spotify or Apple. This is a safe space. My Instagram is a safe space. My Twitter is a safe space. Let's have those conversations in DMs. I don't care. We can have those conversations. I'm up for it. Now I will have the research to back myself up on it. And hopefully, I hope that within those conversations and in those spaces, you can feel safe as well. Don't think that you're too young to have these conversations. No one is. No one is too young to have these conversations. So, with that, I'll wrap it up. Happy Nate Day to everyone. I'm Nathan Williams, and this